In this May 25th episode of 3Tobicoke, we'll be going through a 3-bedroom semi-detached in Mimico listed at $1 million, taking offers anytime, a not too common plus-size 4-bedroom 2-story house in West Dean listed at $1.39 million, and a 7-year-old 2-story 4-bedroom 5-bathroom house near Centennial Park listed with an offer date at $1.49 million. If this is your first time watching, my name is Jonathan Lee and I'm an Etobicoke specialist. 3Tobicoke is a video series that I run weekly where I analyze 3 different properties at 3 different price points. You can go to my website to see previous episodes of 3Tobicoke at JonLeeHomes.ca/3Tobicoke. If you're interested in learning more about any of these properties, or you would like to chat about real estate, you can schedule a call with me through Calendly by clicking on the link below, either in the description of this YouTube video or in my original email. Let's jump into the first home. At our low-level price point, we have 23 Alan Avenue, which was a 3-bedroom semi-detached in Mimico. It was listed at $1 million, and actually the listing got updated while I was preparing for this video, and it ended up selling a little bit over $1 million at $1,008,000. The reason I chose this listing was due to value. I was surprised that they had listed the property this low, taking offers anytime. This was an all-brick semi-detached home on a 25 by 128 foot lot. It looked like it was in great condition. The finishings on the interior were a little bit dated, but still in very good condition, very livable. We'll quickly go through the photos. The kitchen, it looked like it had been updated in the last 15 years or so. As with the bathrooms, this property was located right around Roy York and Evans. North of Evans, right around the townhouses located just off the Gardner. Now, people who are watching my previous videos just 2 weeks back, I went over a semi-detached on Treeview Avenue in Alderwood that backed onto a park and had a basement suite. It was listed at $1.15 million, and I was saying that it was great value. This one doesn't have the park or the basement suite, but I think condition-wise from the interior, it was in comparable condition. Size-wise as well, it would be somewhat comparable. That one had a slightly wider lot at 30 feet. This one coming in at only $1 million, obviously offered a lot of value. There's a lot of buyers who are capable of purchasing at that price point, and few very livable properties that are available at that price point. Anecdotally, I'm seeing the market sort of soften the last couple of weeks. Homes are still selling, but there doesn't seem to be as much gusto in the market. I'm seeing some homes flop on their offer dates. Part of this can be attributed to an increase in inflation rates, which has banks and buyers speculating that interest rates could rise once more. Probably not by a huge amount, maybe 25 basis points or a quarter of a percent, but also maybe second guessing whether rates have actually topped out or not. But I also think with this past week, especially us passing just the May 2-4 weekend very recently, the other half of the sort of this turning point is seasonality. May 2-4 weekend, as everyone knows, is the unofficial start to summer, and while the June market is still active, I do find in general real estate becomes less of a priority for people in Toronto over the summer months, as there's really only 3 good months of summer. So you don't want to spend too much of it focusing on real estate and trying to find the best home possible, and people will put a pause on their search and revisit it come September or late August. So it's possible that the seller was anticipating this market adjustment, or they just wanted to sell quickly, but it has me wondering whether they left some money on the table by listing and selling this low. But listed low, sold quickly. If you're looking for a deal, you have to be prepared, and to me this one was a very good deal, offered very good value. The next home that I want to go through with you guys is 7 Deanecrest Rd. This is located right around Eglinton in the East Mall in the West Dean area. This is a 4-bedroom 2-story house on a 50 by 115 foot lot, and we'll quickly go through the photos here. This home is listed at $1.39 million. It's probably been updated in the last 20 years or so. The interior is fairly contemporary, though not super modern. This is the basement. It looks like it's got some pretty good ceiling height, probably closer to 7 feet. And it looks like it's got a great backyard. Now, the reason I chose this home is due to its size. This home is rated at 1,400 square foot according to MPAC, giving you another 150 to 200 square foot of interior space compared to the typical bungalow, side split, back split homes. And that's really reflected in the fourth bedroom. Obviously, the bungalow, side split, back splits, most of those only have 3 bedrooms. And of course, this additional square footage comes at a premium, but I don't think it comes at a crazy high premium here, especially being only listed at 1.39 million. With some of the upsizers that I've talked to, some of them have mentioned needing more space. And obviously going from, say, a 1,200 square foot bungalow with another 1,200, 1,100 square foot underneath to a 2,500 3,000 square foot, 2-story, 4-bedroom house is a big jump, not only in additional square footage, but also in price. You know, you're going from a house that's probably worth between 1.2 to 1.5 million to a house that's worth 2 million to 2.5 million, especially if you're going to stay in Etobicoke. And I don't think everyone has the budget to be able to do that, but they do need additional square footage. And I think this kind of strikes the right balance of we just need an extra room for us to work in, or we just need a little bit more room for our third child to have his own bedroom. And I think this home strikes that balance. Another feature that I want to mention here is this space right above the garage here, which I think is kind of an undervalued feature. It gives you options to potentially extend the property without having to build on land, without having to build out a foundation. This home obviously being solid brick on the exterior from a 1960s era. You can easily build an additional 100 to 150 square foot room here, have it as a family room, a bonus room, or maybe just an additional bedroom or office just above the garage, basically extended off the hallway here. And if we're going to assume, say, $400 a square foot or so to build that additional space, that additional room, 100 to 150 square foot room, would come in at under $100,000, making it definitely much more usable over the long term in terms of the useful life of this home and the livability over the long term of being able to enjoy this home, this property. Now, unfortunately, these 4-bedroom, 2-story homes aren't as common as I would like for them to be. I do find they mostly exist in West or Central or even North Etobicoke. Less so in South Etobicoke. You're more likely to find a 3-bedroom, 2-story home, which would be similar in size to that 1,200 square foot bungalow. So if you do need a bit more space than a typical 1,200 square foot home, and you're looking for just maybe an extra 150, 200 square feet, potentially with an option to build on top of that garage, maybe because you have a slightly larger family, maybe 3 kids instead of 2, I think this would be a great fit. That's why I'm throwing it out there, letting you guys know that this option is available, but you have to wait around for one to pop up. And when the opportunity does pop up, you might want to act quickly because it could be some time before you find another one like this. So that's 7 Deanecrest Rd, listed at 1.39 million. The last home that I want to go through with you guys here as my sort of high price point selection is 3 Erinview Terrace. This is located right around Renforth and Erringate Drive, not too far from Centennial Park. This home was built in 2016 and is listed at 1.49 million with an offer date of May 30th. Very quickly, if you're not familiar with an offer date strategy, it's where a seller will list their home low, potentially even less than what they're willing to accept, with the expectations of receiving multiple offers and buyers outbidding themselves and eventually selling to the top offer. Now, as you look at this house, you might be thinking, am I looking at a home in Vaughan? But believe it or not, this is in Etobicoke. And this is a style of home that many people don't really know existed, but it was actually built on land that was redeveloped in the last 10 years from an old dated plaza not far from Centennial Park. And according to title systems, it was built by a development company called Laredo Construction Incorporated. And for anyone curious, this is just a Google Street View map of the plaza that existed here before. So this is Erinview Terrace as a street exists now. And this was a little strip mall plaza that existed here back in 2011. And here it is in 2015 before the homes were built. And here we are roughly in 2017. Now we'll quickly go through the photos. So this is a 4-bedroom, 5-bathroom house. As we go through, you can kind of tell it doesn't have luxury features. I find a lot of the 25 by 120 foot new build homes, they do tend to have more luxury features. They tend to target a more affluent market. This one seems to have more entry level builder grade finishes. Nothing wrong with that at all. A lot of these features can be, of course, improved upon. Layout of the house, of course, is pretty difficult to improve upon. Now, the reason I included this at the high point was first to let you guys know that there are newer developments that exist around Toronto. This is an example of one. There's also another one in Alderwood, right around Valermo and 30th Street, right here, Treeview, Father Redmond Way. This was actually all built on old Toronto District School Board land by Madame E Homes. And if you've seen my ad on Instagram or Facebook, I actually filmed it right around here. Large semis and detached, built a little bit more modern than what we see on Erinview. But I just wanted to show you guys that this option does exist. They are hard to find, but if you keep your eyes out, or your timeline is 2-3 years down the line and you want to end up in a newer build home like this, keep your eyes out. It will pop up eventually. And into the future, as more of these older plazas and strip malls get redeveloped, I believe more will be built. But the trend has been to build townhouses or stacked townhouses over detached homes these days. Now, I don't know what the seller's expectation is for this home. It's new, but it's not luxury. And as I mentioned, a lot of builders, they sort of aim to hit that luxury buyer in this market, especially on a lot that's right around 25 by 110. This is 26.3 by 108.65. I also want to give you guys an idea of how I would value this home. So I have here a selection of 2-story newer build skinny homes on 25 by 100, 110, 120 foot lots that have sold in the last month and a half or so. And you can see they range in price. There's about a $450,000 difference or so from the lowest to the highest price home. I've been through a couple of these, not all of them. This one at the top end selling at $2.2 million. This one had a much deeper lot. I thought it had some really nice features on it. It really felt luxurious going through. Just to give you a rough sense, this was what the interior looked like on the main level. It had a bar area here just off the dining room. And it had these coffered ceilings in the living area. And there's kind of nice floor to ceiling windows. Had these really nice touches to it, I thought. This one I'd say is more of an anomaly. I wouldn't really say it's directly comparable, but I would exclude this one from comparison. And so that leaves these other 4 here that are, none of them being close to where Centennial Park is. All of these being in South Etobicoke, where the majority of these skinny home new developments tend to occur. There's a roughly $150,000 difference between the lowest and the highest price here. This one sold pretty recently, May 11th. I also thought this one had some really nice luxurious features in here. Maybe not to everyone's taste, especially if you're not really into darker finishes. I'll tell you, I recently renovated my kitchen and bathroom, and gold hardware, gold faucets, gold knobs, gold light fixtures, they tend to be pretty expensive, surprisingly expensive. And the color difference varies quite a bit between manufacturers, so you really got to shop around. Like, black hardware is much easier to match. So the builder of this home likely spent quite a bit in just hardware alone. This one with the glass paneling, wooden accent divider, also being 4 bedrooms and selling for $1.9 million. This to me feels like a superior house, so I wouldn't expect this home to sell for as much, but is obviously a clear indication of what the absolute ceiling could be for this type of property. And so closer to the bottom here, we have 36 Bellman. This home was built in 2018, so not too far off from Erinview Terrace. You can see from the exterior, it doesn't have quite the same modern features. Windows are a bit smaller. It's mostly brick and stucco on the side there. The interior doesn't show quite as extravagantly either, though I do think the kitchen has a bit more flair than the one at Erinview, and it's pretty obvious that this one has higher ceilings as well, probably about 10 feet or so. Now, this home only has 3 bedrooms, which in some ways makes it a little bit inferior to Erinview, but I think this one might be a good comp to where Erinview ultimately ends up landing. Erinview having similar, though maybe slightly inferior finishes, but offering maybe a bit more in terms of interior space, especially on the second floor with that additional bedroom. In some ways, Erinview being located in Centennial Park, having fewer property comparables available to it, I think it's also going to affect its value a little bit. So there's a possibility that it doesn't quite strike quite as high as 36 Bellman, which sold for $1.75 million. So on their offer date, I think ultimately the offers that end up coming in will be between $1.65 and $1.75 million, probably landing roughly around $1.7 million. And the last thing that I want to do to double check this number is just check what sold in the last few months at that price point. So I'm going to have a look at and see what sold between 1.6 and say 1.8 million in the last 3 months or so. See how it compares, because if you see some outliers where you either see really good value right around 1.7 million, then that's an indication that my estimate would have been too high. Or if you see some pretty frumpy looking houses selling right around that price point, that's an indication that my estimation is too low. So we'll have a quick look here. So we have Aaron Gates sold from 1.6 million. Since March, there's only been 2 properties. One was 65 DeCary Circle, which we reviewed last week. Really nice bungalow on a pie-shaped lot backing onto a ravine. And then this one here on Beaver Bend, 168 Beaver Bend. This one is a pie-shaped lot, again, in a court, also backing onto a ravine. 2-story, large 2-story. A little bit dated, but this home would be a little bit larger as well. I feel like 1.65 to 1.75 would be an appropriate number for 3 Erinview Terrace. And that's our high price selection. So that concludes this week's episode. Again, if you would like to get in touch, you can schedule a call with me through Calendly by clicking on the link either below in the description of this YouTube video or in my original email. I'll see you guys next week. Cheers.